So apparently Rachel Maddow took a break from trying to start a war with Russia to unveil her new big breaking scandal, which is Trump's 2005 tax returns. She was trying to drag it out for a long time, but the White House said here, and released Donald Trump's 2005 tax returns. Turns out he paid around $38 million in taxes at a rate of around 25%, which is a lot more than Mitt Romney in 2013 and Bernie Sanders in 2014. Pretty much everything Rachel Maddow does blows up in her face because she's a lying sellout and a huge corporate elitist and a spokesperson, a mouthpiece for the political establishment. The White House says it's illegal to steal tax returns, and Rachel Maddow says, well, it's my First Amendment right to publish them. The big story that nobody seems to talk about or care about is that the biggest corporations in America hide $1.5 to $2.5 trillion overseas away from taxes. That's trillions of dollars. Meanwhile, they come for us for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 and act like it's going to make the biggest difference in the world. The extreme irony of the extreme crowd that wants Donald Trump to release his tax returns are that most of them didn't seem to care that Hillary Clinton in her own email said that she knew Qatar and Saudi Arabia were funding ISIS and Al-Qaeda. Meanwhile, her own campaign was also being funded by Saudi Arabia and Qatar to the tune of $10 to $25 million, a big portion of her campaign. So you really care about Donald Trump's tax returns, but you don't care at all that Hillary Clinton's campaign is being funded by the same countries that are funding the terror groups that our leaders are claiming they want to stop. So you don't care of the many reports that the United States government was funding Al-Qaeda and funding ISIS, but you care that Donald Trump wants to get along with Putin to stop ISIS? You don't care that Vault 7 was released showing that the CIA spying through smart TVs, can assassinate people via cars, can spy through your phone, yet they somehow can't stop ISIS. Give me a break. While everybody's talking about this, I bet they won't talk about the fact that WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange tweeted today that Hillary Clinton is privately pushing for a Pence presidency and the intelligence communities are trying to oust Donald Trump silently. They're trying to oust Donald Trump with corporate media sellouts like Rachel Maddow, like political propaganda comedy like SNL, with the intelligence communities, with the protests, with the leaders, with the politicians. Pretty much every way possible they're coming at him. We've never seen anything like it with any president ever. It's not remotely comparable to Barack Obama critics. It's not remotely comparable to what happened with George Bush, Bill Clinton. This is unprecedented that the intelligence communities, that the mainstream media, and that all politicians are trying to oust the president of the United States. And corporate elitist spokespeople like Rachel Maddow have people convinced that getting along with Russia and trying to fight ISIS, trying to stop terrorism, that's crazy, that's terrible, that's racist, that's horrible, but starting World War III with Russia, that's normal. Put a no-fly zone. Let's kill Russia. Let's fight Russia. That's normal in Rachel Maddow's kooky world. No wonder why a presidential candidate could have an impending FBI investigation and get a large portion of her money from terrorist funding countries, and half the country doesn't care. Because people are so dumb, so misled, so in their own little fake reality that they listen to people like Rachel Maddow, watch MSNBC, watch Alec Baldwin dress up as Donald Trump and think that's reality. I don't mind an opinion. I don't mind comedy, but people think that's reality. When they lie about Donald Trump, people are like, yeah, that's what's happening. It's just fake comedy. And it's not even normal fake comedy. It's being used to fuel a massive agenda for global powers, for elitists, for corporations, for Democrats and Republicans who don't care about you. They don't care about your family. They don't care about your kids. They don't care if you have a job. They don't care about illegals. They don't care about African Americans. They don't care about anybody. But they just play you guys like little puppets on a string because so many are that foolish and that filled with hate. It's not surprising so many people hate Donald Trump because Hillary Clinton broke records by having more personal attacks than any presidential candidate ever and talking about less policy than any presidential candidate ever. It's like she's a walking void, a walking lie, a walking contradiction, a walking, hey, I get funded by people who fund terrorists and nobody seems to care. Yet they convince you that getting along with a global power is weird and starting World War III and reigniting the Cold War, that's normal. That's what Rachel Maddow does. That's what mainstream media does. There's Donald Trump's tax returns that you wanted to release, Rachel Maddow. Once again, a failed story. Stop trying to start a war with Russia. Stop selling out to corporations. Stop selling out to politicians. Stop selling out to Democrats. And stop believing her. If you listen to her and think she's like a great voice of truth, you're playing yourself.
Me living out the system, yeah, I stretch like every day. I be all about my fitness, keep my mind about the stress. So I always beat my sickness. I don't trust no corporation, cause they lie like politicians. I don't